Probably the famous act that he was responsible for and committed to was the march on the German consulate back in 1938 after Kristallnacht, which was the night that synagogues were burnt down, Jewish businesses were destroyed. With the context that we've been speaking in terms of the trauma that he suffered, the trauma that his mother suffered, the trauma that everyone in that collective would have suffered as a result of colonialisation, the act of actually marching to get better treatment for a dispossessed and persecuted group of people on the other side of the world is something, in my mind, that is still absolutely staggering. And so they marched from their home in Footscray. Now, I have a theory about that because there's a train station not too far away from his home. I reckon one of them couldn't afford the train fare, so they all marched instead of just catching the train there. That must be something for you as a direct descendant, Leonie, something that you're tremendously proud of, and I know that your dad is tremendously proud of as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think you know, that's the story that a lot of people know about William Cooper. And, you know, he's much more of, to him, about his own people as well. But, you know, I guess when you hear something like that, it pulls at my heartstrings a little bit in terms of it truly showed me what type of person he was. And the more I find out about him and the things that he's done, I think, you know, he was a good man with a good heart. He looked after his family, and during times when, you know, he was marginalised in his own country. So to stand up for another race was a remarkable act. And I think, you know, with regard to the train fares, I know that Dad said that with that, he would put his pension aside, any money he had, so he could fight for his people instead of taking the train. So he quite often would walk to the Yarra. He would walk instead of taking the train. And
he by this time was an old man. He was 1938. He lived through till 1941. But he was an old fellow at this time, so the energy that he retained throughout his life must have been amazing. Sonia, what can our mob learn from actions like that one, like the March on the German consulate? What can we learn?
Oh, we can just learn that we don't have to be silent, you know, like that we matter. And I think that that's a huge thing, because having that on my shoulders when I do my work makes me so strong, you know, so I operate from that position. And like Uncle Boydie said that William was well before his time, Uncle William was, you know, and so if you think about that back then, you know, I guess we've got a lot of tools that we can actually grab from all the mob. So for me, it's actually, you know, learning from the past and implementing it for what I do.
And it also helps that we have right on our side, which is something that Uncle William knew more and had a clearer vision of than most people.